back to this text, back to this topic. So, what is Hung Gar exactly is? What do you think about what is Hung Gar?
I just want to restate that this is my opinion, based on what I've learned over the years. First of all, I see that it's a product of its historic roots, and I've explained a little bit about the historic roots. It has developed over 200 or 300 years, and you can't ignore what that development was, because that represents the foundation of what it is today. And I see it as a style of traditional Southern Chinese martial arts. There's many Southern Chinese martial arts. I'm not saying Hung Gar is the only one or the best one. There's many others. This style of Hung Gar has many major characteristics and a certain focus that tends to distinguish the Hung Gar style. And distinctive of that style is a system inside Hung Gar which consists of a philosophy of practical martial strategies, various principles, tactics and concepts, and it also includes the character development of the practitioners and the self-realization of each of the practitioners, and the preservation of health is an extremely important distinction of the style, which probably exists in other styles, I don't know. But why it is so important is that the Hung Gar style is traditionally known as very strong and very focused, and if you don't look after your health, you're not able to execute many of the movements. So it's an important component of that. Other key components of the style focus on many things within Hung Gar. And within these components, I include the 5 animals. Hung Gar uses the 5 animals inside its teaching. So we've got the tiger and the crane and the snake and the leopard and the dragon, and they represent various characteristics or personalities of the animals which we tend to adopt in learning about Hung Gar. And then it has the 5 elements, fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And each of those 5 elements have certain characteristics, just as the animals do. And those characteristics are employed within Hung Gar as we execute it and learn about it. And then there's the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars have evolved over time as the historic forms of Hung Gar, which amongst them teach most of the movements of Hung Gar. So much of the tactical movements can be seen within the 4 pillars. And the 4 pillars I'm referring to is the 4 common forms that most people will learn, which is Gong Ji Fu Fu Kun, Fu Hok So Yin Kun, Ti Xing Kun, and Sup Yin Kun. And then there's the 12 bridges. Now, the 12 bridges are very important, and they tend to teach us the way that we wish to play whatever it is we're doing. I say the word play, I know in English it means different things. So for those people who have learned Hong Kong in Chinese, the word play does not have a playful meaning. It means to execute and perform and to use. So in English, when people hear the word play in Hung Gar, they might think it's not very serious, but It is. And to play means to execute and to use and to learn. So when we do that, we need to understand what the 12 bridges are. And because they're an extremely important part of it, on how we execute it and the way we do it and the intention behind what we're doing, and how we may wish to perform at that particular time, whether it's in a fighting situation or whatever. And the breath control is another important part. We need to develop stamina. If you can't control the breath, then you're not going to last very long. So that's a very important part of it. And self-development. If we can't develop ourselves, then we're not going to learn very much about Hung Gar. In fact, the most important thing about Hung Gar is learning about oneself, which Hung Gar practitioners will begin to realize. So that's how I see it. And I'm not going to go into great detail on each of these things at the moment, but the following episodes in this channel, I intend to explain all of this and much more about learning and training in Hung Gar.
So the system of the Hung Gar, you think, I mean, what you have and what you teach, do you think it's about more what about the military side or the health side or the cultural side that you have mentioned before? I mean, what is the percentage? What's the balance in your Hung Gar, you think?
I think the cultural side, because we teach traditional Hung Gar, so we are focusing on the cultural side, and I think that's the highest percentage that we're learning. It's that cultural basis that enables us to look at the other things and bring those things out of that cultural background. And the things that I bring out are certainly the health side, because that's my part of my background. And so I'm very interested in making sure people understand what that means. And that also represents how we learn Hung Gar and how we perform and execute Hung Gar with a focus on our own health. So if you do the stances in the wrong way, you're going to start damaging the body. So everything we do, I'm trying to preserve and maintain and protect the health of the body, because the body is basically our weapon, whether we're using our hands and the legs or other external weapons. Without the health of the body and the ability to move and to have the stamina, then we're not going to be able to use them. The military side of the martial aspects, and yes, that comes out. Again, that's the main tool as to learning, understanding all the basic movements. But the movements are based on the martial aspects. So we must use those martial aspects, and people must understand all of that in order to learn Hung Gar.
I guess most of the people, they may think the Kung Fu, not Hung Gar, just Kung Fu is kind of moving your body or having some weapons, very nice moving. I mean, they don't think too much about very deeply the concept behind or how to execute by using the cultural, the knowledge, the health and wellness knowledge to apply it on it. They're not really understand of that, I think.
Yes, that's correct. Most people, they probably don't give it much thought. I think to many people, perhaps many people in the West, they don't even know what Hung Gar is. It's just another Chinese Kung Fu. And they just see that as another style of fighting. So it's just like well, we might as well learn MMA or boxing or Chinese Kung Fu or Thai kickboxing. They're all the same, aren't they? And I think perhaps for many people, the focus is, how can I be an effective fighter? And they don't really think that much about the depth of what they're learning and the basis of what they're learning, in that, what is it trying to teach you? It's not just trying to teach you fighting. There are many, many other things that without them, without all those other things, maybe you're not going to learn fighting very well either. And if somebody just wants to learn fighting, then I would direct them away from Hung Gar, and they might as well go and learn the sport fighting of what we see today, which is MMA.
Yeah.
Much more effective if that's what they want to learn. Yeah. That's not to say that Hung Gar people who have spent many years don't understand how to fight, but it's not sport fighting. There's no audience, there's no rules. Yes, you are allowed to do major damage. There's no referee. It's a completely different approach.
Yeah, different rules behind.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
do we think that adequately describes what Hung Gar is?
Yes, I think so. I think so. It's I think it's a kind of a introduction or beginning of the big topics, and there are quite a lot of big topics in Hung Gar.
Yes.
So I think you can explain it one by one later on.
Yeah. Okay. So we look forward to the subsequent episodes, which will explain everything and make it all unfold, and how people go about learning. I hope to make it very thorough to answer everybody's questions. Okay,
Great.
so thanks, and we'll meet up again in the subsequent videos.
Okay, thank you, Sifu.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.